This video is going to be called The Battle Between Light and Darkness. The battle between light and darkness starts from within. We are electromagnetic um, beings. We are electromagnetic beings. You can refer to David Icke as a good reference source. He's a white guy, but he's on the money with that. You can also refer to Brian Desborough for talking about the chakra systems and how we walk around with some auroric field around us. We are electromagnetic beings. So with that said, inside of us, first of all, the Earth is an electromagnetic being. The Earth is an electromagnetic being. It has an electromagnetic sphere around it, and we do as well as humans. Now, um, within us we have and within our brains we have a neocortex, mammalian brain, and the R complex, which I call reptilian brain, and we also have the limbic brain. But when you look at the R complex and the mammalian brain, you have two battles, and what's in between. Of course, the neocortex is the realm of dreams. Spirituality, creativity, or somewhat comes from that area of the brain. But when you have the mammalian brain, which is the more caring, sharing, nurturing side, then you have the reptilian brain, which is the aggressive, cold, callous side, fight or flight, winner takes all. Then you know inside of us is a constant battle. But wait, this is something that I've been talking about and been trying to express to people, but I was ashamed to do it. But I see it's a lot of other people talking about it, so now I can't be ashamed of saying something that's true. What I do believe and have always believed, that we manifest reality through ourselves. When you have a group of people who can come together and have one hive mind, they can create an atmosphere through themselves, through their consciousness, through the electromagnetic fields around their bodies. They can create a reality. All it takes is firm belief in what you're focusing on, and you will create that yourself. But if you have a bunch of people all on the same accord, then they create that for themselves, whether it's something good or whether it's something bad. Now, what I believe the occult has done, or the Illuminati, or whatever people want to call them, the cabal, they have learned to they have learned to communicate to our subconscious. And our subconscious is being constantly attacked. And then when we all agree upon it subconsciously, we create the reality that we live in. We create it through our minds. We create it from our minds, and then it becomes physical. Because I'll give you an example. If you think about all the creations that's come, before they became physical, they were in the mind first. It had to be an idea. But then the idea has to be believed by those that are helping you, or believed by those who believe in you or that idea. Then that idea becomes real. You can have an idea saying, I want to build an architectural structure. Well, you can build that architectural structure, but you need help doing it. And you also have to think of it first, manifest it onto paper, then have plans, draw out plans for other people to come by and build this thing, which you have had within yourself. Because, of course, it had to be within in order for it to become physical. So that's an example of the basic conscious now, um, manifestation of something not physical into a physicality. Now imagine the subconscious, which is constantly attacked, and you can do that same thing subconsciously, where you can create a reality around yourself and not know that you're doing it based on the information that you're getting consciously and subconsciously. I call these things, I give you an example. Religion is one, and I'm not an atheist or nothing like that. I'm just saying religion is one. Religion is a major one. Money is another one. And time is another one. So we have religion, money, and time. Religion, well, religion, it locks you up into a particular mindset of God and what it's going to do to you. And if you don't do this, this is going to happen, and this and that and the other. And it's so limited into a box that it keeps you into like a prison, a mental prison, because you're not, the information is completely manipulated. And there's plenty other, you can refer to my other video, Transcending Physical Reality, in which in some of this video, I'm going to touch on that. I did a lot of profanity in that video, Transcending Physical Reality, because I was very passionate about what I'm feeling, and what I'm feeling is it's a phenomenal thing. It's a truthful thing. This is nothing made up or nothing. None of the stuff I'm saying is made up. This is actual stuff. So when you go into these realms of subconscious to conscious, you have to understand that within our brains, we have a constant fight. Within ourselves, we fight because we live in a duality. In this reality, you have man, woman, hot, cold, day, darkness, light, darkness, wintertime, summertime, spring. You have the duality of the temperatures, which I said. You have good children, bad children, good cops, bad cops. Everything is a two-sided thing. So when you deal with that, then that's that constant battle manifested from a thought into reality. So it becomes everything. But the thing that we must understand is that the balance has to be there. And it's a POV, which is a point of view. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. Something could be completely dark, or a person can be completely evil and have no comprehension of if it's wrong or not. Some people are like that. They just don't believe they're wrong. And that's their point of view, and it's not. They don't feel like they're wrong. It's a lot of politicians, a lot of dictators, a lot of other beings on this planet that does the wrong thing, but in their minds, they're doing the right thing because they have a reason for what they do. So sometimes it's based on a point of view, and it's not necessarily a wrong or right. What's a wrong and what's a right? Well, what's wrong is what we're conditioned on what right is. And what's right has us conditioned on what wrong is. So in other words, our cognitive thinking on our own has been hijacked. In other words, something has come between us knowing wrong and right without having to have it being instilled in us to what it is. Something being instilled into you from what it is takes the power away from you and gives it to whatever that is, whether it's the Bible or the law or the government, which is the law, and the Quran or the Torah or the Septuagint or the Tanakh, whatever the Babylonian Talmud, the Cabal, whatever you look at, it's documented by man, dictates what mind state you should have subconsciously and or consciously. So you don't really naturally manifest what is wrong or what is right. but is in fact two sides. Now, the balance between the two sides can be beneficial. It is a time and a place to express your dark side. It's a time and a place to express your light side. But to balance it is basically being your own wizard, being your own technician of what you want things to be in your life. That freedom appears to be limited because you're told what's wrong and right, and you're also told what's right and left, what's up and down, what's east or west, what's north and south, which all represents two, everything, east, west, north, south, up, down, right, left. It's always a duality. What we must understand is that in knowing that it is a duality and that we have willpower, which is our free will, then our free will can be hijacked if we don't know the difference, or if we're told what wrong and right is. Then our willpower is being controlled by those who said what wrong and right is, what right and wrong is, what's offensive, what's not offensive. Now, like I said, it's all a point of view. A person can be very offensive and don't even feel that they are being that way. A person can be very defensive and don't feel that they're being that way, because it's the way that they view things. But the common understanding of what defensive is and offensive is, which are again two oppositional sides, then you wouldn't know how to tell the difference. See, when you have entities such as, in the spirit world that are negative, then you have positive. Again, there's another two, negative, positive. It's always a two. Sometimes negative can be good. Sometimes positive can be bad. It depends on the circumstance and situation. And us as individuals have to sort those things out. But it depends on the circumstance that you're in and the situation that you're in that dictates what decision you make. Right or left, up or down, good or bad, bad or good. What is it to you? And how you can maneuver through the laws and the religious chains that we have on ourselves to give us the direction of what wrong and right is, right or left, up or down, and all of these things. See, when you go past that and you go into, because we talking about religion, that is a subconscious telling you, it's like a prison. It's almost like you're not really free with your thoughts, because what happens is you don't have a free thought at all once you start getting religious. So your free thought and free will is gone. So then let's go to money. Money puts you in a box, a trap. But if you understand how to deal with money and know that money, it really doesn't exist, and it's something that was created from a tree, and then it was in somebody's mind to create this. They cut the tree down and just started coloring shit and made green money. So then they made it important to you. And guess what you had to do? You had to agree to that. Because in order for it to be important, you have to agree to it. That's like I said before. When you create something, people have to believe in that. They have to believe in that for it to be something, or it is nothing at all. Like, for instance, you can come out with a t-shirt or a shirt, a line of shirts. And if people just don't believe in that shirt, they don't like it, then it just will sit on the shelves. It will mean nothing. The same thing with money. If we just say, oh, fuck that, because money ain't real, there's something somebody created to keep us in a prison, then money would mean nothing. Then the true colors would come out of those who really run society, because they'd be like, okay, well, y'all ain't spending no money. They're making us rich. So then the true colors would come out. You got to understand money is a good thing, but you have to use both sides of your brain and both sides of your light and dark side to balance the money. If you don't use that very well, then money won't be balanced and the responsibility will be lacking. And then you will just be in debt. And debt is, again, is created. Debt is a created thing, a created mechanism to make you feel a certain way when you are in debt. That is why even when you feel like you're in debt, that is a low vibrational field. Like I said, the human body is electromagnetic, so it has a vibrational field around it when it's upset, when it's low. You can't see it with the naked eye, but it is there, a vibrational field. And sometimes people can see it when they look at people like, what's wrong? What's wrong? You don't look like you're too happy today. What's this or that? Because your vibrational field has affected your physicality, and now you're looking a certain way because you're upset. That can be controlled and manipulated by religion and money. But then again, we're not done yet, because when you go past money, you have to look at time. Time is a created mechanism, and it's also believed, because in order for time to exist, we have to believe that it does. If time doesn't exist, then it won't be anything for anyone to put us in a case, a time, or okay, no matter what a person does, they're on the clock. If a person if doesn't have a job and they just sit around all day, but you say, okay, I need you to come pick me up from the grocery store since you're sitting around all day, and then what that person is going to say, what time do you want me to pick you up? Even if they don't have a job, they're going to say, what time do you want me to pick you up? So there is a time constraint there. So time, money, and religion controls human beings, and it controls the decision making and the dualities within us to really figure things out, because we're too busy being distracted by those three things. But then again, money can trickle to everything: TV, politics. Money trickles to everything. So when I say money, I'm talking about almost like everything that we deal with, because everything we deal with takes money to buy it. It takes time. Time is money. Then you go, time is money. Money takes time. Time is money. So when people say time is money, they know instinctively that both of those are intertwined. And both of those intertwined things do not really exist. They're just created mechanisms. Because in the beginning of time, I'm pretty sure it was no clocks. It was no watches. It was nobody saying, well, at 12 o'clock, I got to do this. Now, of course, they had times when they saw the sun come up and the sun come down, but we really don't know how they dealt with it. Are we really sure that people were scared of the darkness? Because if they were scared when the sun went down, then they had to have been a lower type of human. They couldn't have been an evolved human that built pyramids and did like this, because then they wouldn't have worried about that. They would have just figured it out with their instincts. But it's a different way that you move in the night, and it's a different way that you move in the light. That's all that is. So it's no clock or watch that determines that shit. But when you get a clock and a watch, you can then put people in a controlled society. You can control them because you don't have time and money. And then when the time and money starts to stress them out, then they run to religion. Because if you don't have any money, most people pray to God for money. They praying they get religious. Most people, when they make mistakes in life and make bad decisions, they don't even have enough sense to figure it out a lot of times for themselves. So I'm gonna give it to the hands of the Lord. What hands? You see, the hands that were drawn on pictures that you seen, and everybody just started going along with hands. Listen, this is what I'm saying. This is a true thing. You have to look at things for what it really is, in the deep sense of the matter. It's always a duality, and you have to balance that. But in order to balance that, you have to understand what it is. And a lot of times people don't have time for that, because they're trying to make money. to pay their bills, and then they're going to church to pray to God, which is in all of us. So it doesn't. It's you can do that at home. So the whole point of what I'm saying is, all these created mechanisms are distractions to keep you from your higher self. If you really want to be into your higher self, you have to meditate away from all of this shit and figure out who you are and what you are. Do some studies on that, because what happens, we far too often get caught up in the physicality. And I'm just going to say this. Even religion is physical. The reason why I say it's physical, because it controls you. It controls you through a physical means called a book. If it was no book, then would you be religious? You would have spirituality, but that's it. See, that's the whole point. We're spiritual beings having a physical. We're spiritual beings having a physical. We're spiritual beings living a physical experience, having a physical experience. We're spiritual having a physical experience. So, with us having a physical experience, anything in between those levels can be manipulated. So once you come into this physical body, the moment you come into this physical body and spit into this reality, you are being told things. Things are coming your way from every which angle as a baby, and you're trying to figure things out. And sometimes, at a certain age, we get abducted, not by UFOs. Some of us have, but we get abducted by and indoctrinated into, away from ourselves, into some type of zombie mind controlled type thing. If we realize that and we finally wake up, then we will see the bastards that's controlling us all. See, yeah, you need money to make it. Yeah, you need some sense of spirituality to make it. Because this is what this world has done. It's made you need money, and it made you need time. When there was no time in the creation of man. I'm pretty sure in the beginning of creation, there wasn't no clock saying, okay, at 1 o'clock, Adam and Eve gonna come out the oven at ding, 2 o'clock. Like if you watch Superman, Batman Returns, and he creating Doomsday, when Superman versus Batman, when Lex Luthor is creating Doomsday, he's got him on a timer and it goes ding. And then Doomsday comes out. Okay, it's not like somebody had us in the oven like Pop-Tarts and we just popped up because they had us on 2 minutes to cook and bing, and there we go. No, it was no clocks. There was no clocks, okay? So it was no clocks like we run to work every day. Okay, be there at 12. It wasn't none of that shit. It was just free, 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 and everything is free. You go outside, great agriculturalists that we would have been, but we are not because we're being taken away from nature. But tomatoes, fruits, and vegetables, all that shit is free. But then it comes and gets hijacked, and now you have to work for it and make fake money to buy something that's already natural and that's already been growing on the planet that you should just go outside and eat. Then they try to get you in the Bible by saying this is what Eve has done, the reason why we got to work. What you got to understand is the manipulation is there. And it starts and it works all hand in hand. Religion, money, and time. It all works together. Because without those three, there's no control. None. There's no control at all. And then you can start thinking for yourself and start thinking on other levels. All right, this is lesson 1. Peace and love. Mwah.